Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you get this message. This is your brother King Simon from KingSimonProductions.eventbrite.com or KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. Join the family, join my WordPress, and be a part of my family so you can get notifications on all the things that I'm doing and all the things that I am looking towards doing. I have some great events coming up. I'm even working on retreats, more seminars, more lectures, more things to make it applicable. We're going to deal with, I'm also going to get back as soon as my chief instructor in the disaster preparedness community, Aton Edwards, get back to me. We're going to be doing more disaster preparedness, disaster awareness, because the paradigm has shifted. So we're going to be talking and dealing with that and producing events around that. And this will probably be the last time around, probably this year going into next year. This will probably be the last time around where I'll be doing any disaster preparedness workshops under the advisory of my brother Aton Edwards, who wrote the book Preparedness Now. Very good brother. He's been in the disaster preparedness community for at least 30 or 35 years. And you can Google him up, Aton or Aton, and Dr. Ben used to call him Aton. Aton, Aton Edwards, EDWARDS. Believe me, he's very well informed, and he can either keep it above ground or underground. That's just my brother Aton. He's born under the number 7, so you know what it is. But I just want to share this particular information. This probably won't be long, but this one is called Numerovation. Do what you love. Doing what you love to do. And one thing about numerology or numerovation, it can help motivate you to do what you love, because what various forms of numerology does, not only does it reveal or show what you're concealing or give you guidance, it is in one perspective, it could be very objective, where it will give you the constructive or the obstructive meaning of the number. And in instance, let's say the number 1, and I'm going to come out of a few books. I got Lloyd Strayhorn's book here with me. I have, which is this book. This is a very good book. Of course, I have my book here with me this time. Numbers are simple. Numbers are simple. People are complicated. And I have other books with me right now, which I will probably touch on. Of course, I got Michael Brill's book. I keep on telling y'all about that book. I only brought a few books with me because I'm traveling and I'm hanging out with Baba Dr. Africa, getting some well needed information. Also, coming out of this book, I might touch that book, but I'm going to deal basically with you and the particular numbers that's connected to you. And I'm going to probably go through the 1 through 9 dynamic and why it is important to do what you love to do and what connects you to do what you love to do. Like many of you are born either on the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd. Let's say many of you are born connected to the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Even if you're born under the compound number, and the compound numbers or composite numbers are the doubling of the numbers. When you get to 10, those are considered 10 all the way to 31st are considered compound numbers or composite numbers. Those are that's when the doubling of the numbers start to come into play. So if you're born on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31 or 31st of any of those months. This can also help to guide you. But understand, when you get to those compounds, just for basic understanding, I just want you to, let's say 1 plus 0, which is 10, equals 1. Let's say 11, 1 plus 1 equals 2. For the dealing with the basics of the numerovation or numerology, although many numerologists will say never, quote unquote, reduce the master number. And you got to realize that it's a master number for a reason, because it reveals and helps to expound in this realm your mastery. But many of us wasn't guided to understand the master number. Many of us wasn't taught these type of systems. Many of us, it was taken away from. Many of us, it was taken away because of religious values and what we were taught throughout different ways and lives and all that. And it's okay. It's all right. But like I always say in all the videos that you've heard me, numerology, whether you're doing Gematria, Kabbalah, or Chinese numerology, Japanese numerology, whether you're doing cardology or whether you're doing whatever, is here to guide you. It's not the is all, the beat all, is for the guidance. At the end of the day, we're supposed to rise above all of this. Because in the learning center, which we call Earth, Earth is the learning center. Earth is the school. Earth is the learning center. Earth is the school. So on a macro level, it is the school of life. And that's what we're dealing with. So doing what you love while you're here, exhausting all the possibilities, wherever you may be on this earth, because you were born in that side of the earth. Whether you go, because you can go to a rural part of the world where you might not have internet, you might have lack of access to internet, but in some part of that society, there are some type of access in certain parts, and then there's not. But even if that person exudes that number one or number two or number 3 through 9 quality, it will show up. Even if you're in the forest, even if you're in the jungles, even if you're in the ghetto, it shows up. It shows up. Take, for instance, let's take a well-known person who was born in the ghettos of Jamaica, like Bob Marley. Bob Marley is born February the 6th, 1945. Great, great, great ambassador of reggae. He was one of those people that made things happen in the reggae by making certain moves. But think about this. The 6, his personal number is the number 6. And 6 is the number of, let's go to Lloyd Strayhorn books, shall we? I want to show some tangible stuff. And these are just basic things to help people to become better. Now, 6 is on its positive is the number of loving, according to Lloyd, magnetic, being sociable, artistic, and understanding. And we can, beyond a shadow of doubt, can say that Bob Marley did what he loved, his loving music. He had his loving music, but he did it for the love of the people. Bob Marley undoubtedly was magnetic in the appeal that he got worldwide from his music. Being born on the 6, I'm talking about the number 6. That's his personality. Sociable. At times when he knew when to be to himself, but you can tell that he was very sociable because Bob was a person, according to reading his history and watching documentaries about him, he used to play soccer with his band members or play soccer in the field and enjoyed himself. Artistic, undoubtedly, he was a great writer. He might not have been the best singer, some people would say, but he was the man of the hour for whomever it was, because some in the reggae community would attest that Bunny Wailer was the best singer. And Bunny Wailer is a very harmonic singer, because if you listen to Bunny Wailer and you listen to Bob, you can see the distinction. If you listen to Peter Tosh, you can see the distinction. But doing the Wailing Wailers and the Wailers at that time, you can see the distinction and why the harmony was necessary from all different perspectives. But dealing with Bob, he was very artistic. He was a great writer, and he knew what he wanted, and he was very artistic in presenting that type of reggae music at that time. He was a very understanding soul, because 6 comes with a balance. No doubt people will come for him for counseling, but many of us have actually used his music for some form of counseling, whether it's Trenchtown Rock, knowing about the ghetto life of Trenchtown, or No Woman, No Cry. We consulted his music. Even if we didn't know him personally, we consulted Bob Marley's music. Now, there is a duality, like I say to everybody, and I tell everybody, and every numerologist would agree with this, that there is a duality in numbers. Some might even say triality. That's a new word, triality. Triality means 3 different dimensions to it. Okay, so the so-called negative of the number 6 would be domestic tyrant, a cynic, self-righteous, or jealous. Now, I know nothing about his personal life and people's personal dealings, but after reading a book by called "No Woman, No Cry" by Rita Marley, I can see where that that domestic tyrant could be. Just being honest, I can see if you read the book "No Woman, No Cry," she says certain things that I'm not even going to get into that can tell me that there were certain things that some, people reveal their negative. I have my negative or so-called obstructive times, and I have my positive and constructive times. So Bob Marley, being that he was a man, he was a human in this realm, had his so-called positive and negative. Okay, boom. Okay, so let's deal. And so I'm just getting through that, just basic, because that's up on the top of my head. I wanted to deal with that. Just wanted to make sure everyone understood that each one of you in this realm have your constructive and your obstructive. And if you stay towards your obstructive or the so-called negative, then it can become destructive. And that is what brother like me or people that are in the field of numbers and understanding the esoteric meaning of numbers is here to help guide you to be your very best and guide your children. Guide your nephew you might be taking care of, your grandchildren that you might be taking care of. It's all right. I just want people to share this, share this, share this, share this with other people, share this with other friends. I am doing this just so this kind of information will be out there from our perspective. And I keep it very simple. It's just like people in the military. And I've said this before, KISS. In the military, they say, keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. Dr. Sebi said that in the book that Mr. G wrote. Keep it simple, stupid. Sebi was about simplicity himself. Although he could exude complications or being complicated according to his numbers, being born on the 26th, November 26th, the 2 and the 6 equals the 8. That could be a very complicated, because eights can be very complicated in a sense because they require loyalty, and when they lose or see that you are not loyal to them, then they can be very complicated to you. Because remember, the 2 and 6 are the numbers of compassion, the numbers of love, the number of balance. Both of them, those numbers are the two most strongest number as far as love and compassion is concerned, and dealing with relationship and being in a loving environment, in a beautiful environment. But it adds up to an 8. And 8 in the compound energy deals with, sometimes bad partnership, bad unions, bad advice, and all that type of stuff. And that's why 8s have to be very careful and learn to understand the spiritual and physical dynamics of different things and learn to balance it out. People born on the 8th, the 17th, and the 26th, each one have their different meaning as far as the compound or composite numbers. However, it guides straight to the 8, which that 8 deals with the material and spiritual, understanding the balance, understanding that 0 on top and the 0 on bottom, the build energy and the destruction energy, and how to balance that out and learn to control or manage your weaknesses and strengthen your strengths. So let's deal with everyone born under the number 1. Doing what you love to do. In numerology or astrology and different other things, they can help guide you for you to assert what you love to do to make it better for yourself and your journey in this realm. So if you're born on the 1st, the 10th, the 19th or 28th of the month, let's starting off with the number 1. And the positive of that is ambitious, being daring, being generous, being fearless, being dynamic. So it tells me that whatever you do, you're supposed to be that trailblazer, that person that's supposed to be in front. Like myself, I'm born on the 1st. And that direct number 1 tells me a lot. And when I started learning more about it, it gave me more depth in how I should move on with my talents. Because usually your talent is found with what you gravitate to. So what is it that you gravitate to? being born on whatever day you're born, what is it that you gravitate to? And what can the meaning of the numbers connected to your birthday or your name or your life path or your destiny number, whatever is connected to, how can those number, energy, and frequency enhance you? That's the question. So, because many of you out there are the so-called the future doctors. Many of you are the future artists, the future authors, the future numerologists, the future astrologists, the future chemists, the future physicists. All of you are out there. Some of you are future janitors. But even if you're taking a job, and that's what I loved about Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory used to compliment everyone from the very cleaning man and woman in the venue to the person that actually produced the event or the person that made this thing possible. Because everybody, whether you are the cleaning lady or the cleaning man that cleans out the toilet, whether you mop the place or the venue down to prepare it for people to come in, you have a significant role in life. So never doubt your role. But I remember hearing Bob Proctor say in a brief cut that I was listening to, because I listen to a lot of motivational speakers, whether white, black, Chinese, whatever. I listen to all of them because everybody has something that can help me to be my very best. So I heard Bob Proctor say, be satisfied, be grateful for where you are, but never be satisfied. Be grateful for where you are and what you are doing, but never be satisfied. Because if we had stayed with being satisfied and just grateful for where we are, we wouldn't be using computer technology at this day and age. If back in the day when we was reading in candlelight and they only had candles lit up and lit in their rooms and throughout the street, if we were satisfied and just grateful for just the candlelight, that's cool. But there had to be someone that thought outside of the box to deal with the incandescent light, to deal with the dealing with lighting up and using the lighting for where Lewis Lattimore or Thomas Edison, however it worked, we have the light that we're using now. So most of the things that we're doing is mimicking the grand energy, which is called the sun, that lights up the whole earth. So it's very important that understanding that you have to learn to find your goals and your dreams within your heart. Is there. Whatever you gravitate to the most, whether you gravitate towards cooking, whether you gravitate towards nursing, whether you gravitate towards you're constantly keeping your room clean. So it's just like if a person is constantly keeping things clean and things in order, then they would be good at running a cleaning business. Interesting. Or dealing with hospitality. Very interesting, because I know there's certain numbers that deal with it. And as a matter of fact, Lloyd Strayhorn points that out if you go to his chapter in career and occupation. That's page 169. Those who has his book, make sure you get it. Numbers and You by Lloyd Strayhorn. Those who have his book, no doubt, Lloyd definitely researched and studied a lot of the numerologists of his time and said, I'm going to produce a book, which is quite thick. It's a very thick, little thick book, which is about 1 inch thick, and say, I'm going to cover as much as I can. Now, is he saying that's the is all or be all? No, of course it's not the is all or be all, because you can find more occupations and more careers that's going to lead you to that lead you to being the best that you can be. But it's all right to look through his career, because it also opens you up to multiple streams of income, because these are the days and times that we need to create multiple streams of income, because many people are being fired, laid off, given pensions, given severance packages, all that. So I always tell, like I was speaking to my father yesterday, and he's 70 something years of age, and I know of my father as being an entrepreneur when I heard about him being an entrepreneur as young. I was too young to really check out what he was doing, especially owning his own nightclub and being a paramedic and also doing his thing as far as DJing. He was a DJ, mixing records and bringing music from out of Jamaica, or getting ska or reggae music from out of Jamaica. But I spoke to my father yesterday, and I told him, "Look, pops," I said, "Look, he's a number 7. He's born the same day as Will Smith. You can look that up. Now you know his birthday, but he's a number 7." And because he's born under the number 7, or the 25, which is a 7, the 2 and the 5 tells me that whatever he does, he has to have good partnership, sensitive partnership, and a good companion that can help. 5 represents the brilliant mindset, the need for freedom, the need to move, and need to be adaptable with whatever he's going through. And the 7, which adds up to a number 7, 2 plus 5 equals 7. 7 is that research orientated number, that number that says reflect or introspecting, but also digging and not settling for face value. Always have to dig deep. So those born on the 7th, 16th, the 25th of any month, they always got to dig deep. Before they make certain moves, they got to research it. So I'm telling my father about setting up his own business, writing his own book. He even has a good story from his movements and travels from Jamaica to here, coming from a Cuban Jamaican background. He even got a good story if he put that out. And he also has a good relationship story. Also, he was a good chef. He's also an excellent cook. So all these different factors that my father had that can be comforting to him, instead of him going to look for a job, quote unquote, which means just over broke, he can use that to his benefit because he has the talents that he's always had. But as we get older, some of us give up. Some of us want to retire, but we don't retire, we reinvent. And we reinvent just to be as comfortable as we were when we were very assertive in our young age. But all the assertion in our young age should have prepared us to be comfortable, but still doing. Because usually when old people or older people stop doing what they love, or stop doing what they do, or don't recreate or reinvent themselves, guess what happens? They start to get sick, or they start to develop arthritis. They start to get a little weaker because they're not doing what they love to do. My grandfather, who lived to 103, going on 104, kept on doing what he loved. As a matter of fact, I remember my mother was telling me that the neighbor next door, my grandfather was born September 9th, totally different energy than my father, because 9 is a little bit more assertive. My 7s can be a little bit to themselves and keep to themselves a lot. But if they have the right numbers around them, like Will Smith has a lot of 3s in his names and certain numbers that's going to bring out that assertiveness, where his 25 is not keeping him quiet. His 25 is helping him to research and do the research and dig deep within himself and then bring it out. But his destiny numbers in his name brings out a whole other energy. That's why you see him doing the bungee jump and doing this, and he does movies, he does that. He does do his research first before he does his moves. And still, he rises to the ability, but he uses his 2 and his 5 very well before it reaches the 7. That's what I like. But back to my grandfather, I remember we're in America, and and our family used to send stuff down to my grandfather all the time to keep and maintain the house he was living. So, but my grandfather, being the carpenter that he was a self-taught carpenter. He was a self-taught carpenter who built buildings throughout Jamaica, throughout Spanish Town, throughout Kingston, throughout various places. And he was always referred to by family and friends. So he always had his own independent business, even if he had to work for somebody by contracting people, because he was also a contractor. He built my mother's, my aunt's and my grandmother's, my aunt's midwifery in the back of the house. He built houses all along Spanish Town. Everybody knew Mr. Hamilton from Kingston to Spanish Town. They definitely knew who Mr. Hamilton was, especially when because he was a contractor. But this man at the age of 99 decides to go on top of his roof to fix the roof. 99 years of age. He's fixing his roof. So the neighbor that lived, or the lady that lived in his other part of his house, Dear Precious, big up to you, Precious. Or they called, I think yeah, Precious was living there at that time. They called my mother from Jamaica and said, you know, your father's up on the roof at 99 years of age, fixing the roof at his age. He shouldn't be up there. But that was my grandfather. You're not going to stop a man from doing or a woman from doing what they love to do, because what they love to do makes them stay alive, makes them active, makes them want to do more. So my grandfather was on the roof at 99 years of age, fixing the roof. And when there was a flood, he would go and do the plumbing at 99 years of age, and he wouldn't even ask. Even when I was there one time at his 99th birthday, I was there for his 99th birthday, and I think that was the last time I was in Jamaica. But I was there for his 99th birthday, and I think we had a flood. I think there was a storm, a major storm, and I was doing my meditation on the storm so it wouldn't become a real enhanced hurricane. I did my meditation, and it kind of worked. It did work. I do admit that that energy can work if all of us put our mind to it and make it happen. It did slow down the storm, because it was supposed to be a major storm, and I was caught out there in Jamaica, and I was with him. However, the next day, prior to that day, we knew the storm was coming, but he had the sandbags and all of those people who know Jamaica, especially off of Brunswick and going into around Empson City. He lived right there, not too far from the Esso gas station. That's where he used to live, near the Seventh-day Adventist church. So he's, without me knowing, because I would have went out there and helped, without me knowing, this man at 99 is out there putting out sandbags. 99, strong. He's strong and strapping. So he's out there putting out sandbags. And I was like, Papa, what's going on? No, man, everything all right. Everything all right. You relax. You do your thing. I'm like, are you serious? And sure enough, he set up a barricade for just in case the water was flooding. It would not flood up a lot of the majority of his road, his house. So I'm saying this to say that no matter what age we are, no matter what age you may be, you have to do what you love. Find the do and turn the do into something you love and make a profit or make a business out of it. If you paint and you love to draw, make a business out of it. If you find yourself loving to journal or write, make a business out of it. Never going to tell you to quit the job that's making you money and bringing you finance, but build something on the side that can help guide you or help carry you and help pay a few extra bills. You got it. Most of us had to overcome the fear. That's why I wrote my first book that I wrote was No Promotion is Bad Promotion. Just spell my name right. And it's on Amazon and Kindle right now. Thanks to people like Brother Polite, who helped print that first book. But thanks to people that I see who encourage me to write, like Polite, like the Lloyd Strayhorn, and various other things, by knowing my numbers and knowing my frequency and knowing how to overcome the fear. Because once you overcome fear, everything you want is on the other side of fear. So the fear is the barrier. But if you know how to jump over that wall, jump over fear or knock fear down, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Now, I'm not telling you you're going to make $1 million off of what your business, which you could. I'm not going to tell you you're going to be the most successful with your business, which you could. It's all depending on you and your research and knowing your demographics and how much you're willing to promote it. But I'm saying that even in the midst of you working a regular job or you don't have a job, ideal that you have means something. The ideals that you have mean something. Write them down. Write them down, whatever ideals you have, and start putting them to work. Y'all, or we are at the easiest time to set up a home business. We are at the easiest moments. This is not like we don't have the computer where we could access people around the world and promote your product. These are the days where we can do it and make a very significant amount of money doing it. Hey, now, getting into, if you get a chance, buy Lloyd Strayhorn's book. This is a good book which talks about the careers and occupation. Okay, like for instance, Let me go through again the numbers. Let me go through the numbers. Like if you're born on the number, on a number that's connected to the number one, in his book, he says positive of the number one is ambitious, daring, generous, fearless, dynamic. Negative is being arrogant, selfish, cold, bullying, manipulating. The positive of the number two, people born on the 2nd of the month or the 11th of the month or the 20th of the month or the 29th of the month, mild-mannered, considerate, peacemakers, persuasive, charming. That's the positive. The negative is being petty, deceptive, hoarding, cruel, insincere. The number three, anything connected or anyone connected to the number three, and that is going forward. I might not say all of them, but going forward, three people born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. Positive of the three is being creative, popular, confident, articulate, and musical. Negative is being vain, dictatorial, self-indulgence, and jealous. The positive of the number four is, or people connected to the number four, like the 22nd of the month or the 31st of the month and the 13th of the month. Honest, disciplined, practical, loyal, and steadfast or steady. The negative of the number four is being dull, being crude, being hateful, being insensitive, and being insensitive, and being dealing with melancholy, something that's melancholy. Let's look that up. Let's look up melancholy because I want to make sure I'm clear with the definition of melancholy. All right. Many of you dictionary aficionados might know the word, but just for those lame people who don't want to, laymen and lame women that don't want to look it up. Now, melancholy is spelled MELANCHOLY, CHOLY. All right. And of course, we got technology like this. We can look up words and study words. Melancholy, a feeling of pensive sadness, typically with no obvious cause. That's what the four can suffer from. It's like depression, a feeling of pensive sadness, typically with no obvious reason. Having a feeling of melancholy, that's the sentence, sad or pensive. Sad, sorrowful, desolate, mournful, gloomy. So that's why I always say that four is one of those numbers that deals with depression, and you have to protect yourself from a depression. So again, the negative of the number, the positive of the number four is being honest, disciplined, practical, loyal, and steadfast or steady. The negative of the number four is dull, crude, hateful, insensitive, melancholy. The positive of the number five and those connected to the number five. Again, numbers that connects to number five, like 14, 23, people born on those dates. 4 again, the 22nd, 31st, those type of numbers that are connected to the number four. The number five, positive, is being versatile, literal, literary, curious, spontaneous, freedom loving. The negative of the number five is being self-indulgent, relating to sex, irritable, abusive, but also related to sex, drugs, and any other form of abuse that you can be addicted to. Five have to watch out for that. The positive of the number six is loving, magnetic, sociable, artistic, understanding. The negative of the number six is domestic, tyrant, cynical, or cynic, self-righteous, or jealous. The positive of the number seven, or people born under the number seven, mean that you're born either on the 7th of the month, the 16th of the month, or the 25th of the month. The positive is being intuitive, refined, secretive. And secretive could be both ways because, being secretive to a mate or being secretive to a family member because you're doing something crazy, it can go both ways. But it says that's the positive. That means you could trust them with your secrets most of the time. So the positive of the number seven is intuitive, refined, secretive, philosophical, probing. And probing could be a little crazy too. Like I said, everything has its duality. Every word has its duality. All these numbers have its duality. The negative of the number 7 is being sarcastic, being a recluse, being having no depth, being cunning, too critical. Also worrying and depression is also part of the number 7 energy. Also, so people born under the 4 and 7, I always tell them to protect their mind and stay motivated. Stay motivated. Stay motivated. That's important. The positive of the number 8. And anybody born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month, authoritative, conservative, executive abilities. Some can be religious, very religious people, because they have a deep old soul energy that can connect with a lot of those deep old religious or spiritual things, just like the number 7 does also. 7 has that connection that they can make with spiritual modalities or spiritual things and use it for their benefit. But the negative of the number 8 is greedy, power hungry, intense, and scheming. And there's much more, because 8 is also the number of discipline and the need for discipline. So even if you're dealing with the entrepreneur energy of the number 8 or have that in your chart, you got to be disciplined in order for you to get to where you want to go in this realm and work it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're in a number 8 year, a personal month, an 8 personal year, 8 personal day, 8 personal month, numerology reveals this. And like I said, I keep it simple. I'm not into the deeper stuff. I'm not trying to impress you. Believe me, I'm not trying to impress you. You got some people, numerologists out there. Oh, I'm telling you the numbers that nobody's ever said before. Come on. If it's been thought of, if there's been a thought about it, it's been said before in some other dynamic. Maybe not in English. It could have been said in Sanskrit. It could have been said in Hebrew. It could have been said in Chinese, it could be said, but someone is saying it, especially in this realm, because the mind is a transmitter and receiver of information. So if you're thinking you're saying it just because you said it in English, you don't understand Sanskrit and you don't speak Arabic, or you don't speak, they could be saying it in that, because nothing is new under the sun. So they say. But again, the positive of the number 8 is authoritative, conservative, executive abilities, religious. The negative of the number 8 is greedy, power hungry, intense scheming. But it is a disciplinary number that you have to maintain your discipline, and it's a move forward to either excel in that number 8 energy. The positive of the number 9, last but not least, the positive of the number 9 is the humanitarian, the courageous, the competitive, the resourceful, the spiritual. The negative of the number 9 is impulsive, argumentative, heartless, narrow-minded. So I say all these things out of Lloyd Strayhorn books just to point out something, that each one of us can use each one of those meanings, whether for the positive or negative. We can use each one of them and become constructive in our life, in building our businesses, and building what we want to do, and doing what we want to do. In my book, No Promotion is Bad Promotion, I explain that I used to be afraid of microphones, afraid of speaking in front of people. I used to be afraid until I learned the numbers, until I realized that I always, in the privacy of my family and my home, I can be very assertive, because that was my number 1 energy. My alignment numbers are 3. The year I'm born is a number 5, and the number 8 is my life path. So I could be very assertive and very fun-loving around my personal and safe environment of my family. Like I'm here with Dr. Africa. Me and him, as private and quiet as Dr. Africa is, he's quite a joker. He's very good at comedy because he grew up around comedians, and because he uses his intelligence and what he's learned and what he teaches to his audience by inserting comedy. So you can tell that he studied various comedians and learned to insert his comedy into his lecture, as plain as he is, because he's born under that 27 energy. So he says what he means and mean what he says. So, but when I'm sitting with the Baba in his living room, we're talking all types of stuff, and I'm asking all kinds of stuff, and he's very hilarious. Although he's very straightforward, and he might seem condescending, but he's very straightforward because he's older and he ain't got no time for the bull crap. He ain't got no time to be honeycoating and tiptoeing through no tulips with people. He wants to be straight up. You got to be straight up, but he's straight up with a certain humor that people gravitate to. Brilliant. He's brilliant. He's always studying. He plays his piano. He does his thing. But that's Dr. Africa. So getting back to the point is, he is doing what he loves to do. if you read his name, Laila Africa, you'll find that he has a whole bunch of threes in his name. Laila, the L's pop up. There's a lot of threes in Dr. Africa's name. So that is the writer's number. That is the expression number. So he is doing what he does. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I used to be afraid of the microphone until I got it. And once I got over that fear, like I said earlier, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Most people, like Dr. Farrah Gray says it and Les Brown says it, everything you want is on the other side of fear. And I think it was one of these well-known presidents, I don't know which one who said it, but he says, the old saying is, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. So it's telling us to stop fearing fear. Use it, because we're human beings, we're going to fear, but overcome it and get around it so that fear can be diminished and put to the side. There's still certain fears that I have to overcome. Like, I don't like going into courtrooms. I just never liked it. I don't like courtrooms. So I would avoid it by any means necessary, probably pay the bill from outside and send the bill. I got no time for that. But there's some people that love to do the courtrooms. Now, my life path number 8 says I would do well in legal situations and all that kind of stuff. But because I study numbers and I know that the 8 is still one of my challenge numbers to my personal number 1, I understand why I still have a reluctancy of going into a courtroom. I still understand it. So I'm not going to make this long. Like I said, it is very important that you learn to do what you love, because if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life because you love it. And in regards to the microphone, once I overcame the fear of the microphone, that's when I got in front of audiences up to 20,000 people, 12,000 people in Forest Hill, 15 to 20,000 in Randall's Island, on shows and emceeing shows at Madison Square Garden, Coney Island, Steeplechase Park, and all these different types of festivals. I was the host of the Reggae Carafest, produced by Junior and George at one time, Junior Burton and George Crooks at one time, from Jammin's Production and Legendary Production at one time, produced at these major parks and major stadiums. So once I've overcome that fear, and I'm telling you to overcome your fear, find out, look, write it on the book, write down all your strengths and all the things that you fear. Write down all your goods and all your positive, and start working on eliminating the negative, or managing the negative, which could be causing fear in your heart, because you got to do what's in your heart. That's why it's called the lion heart. Sometimes that's why lions have they call the lion-hearted, those people that are doing brave things, the lion-hearted, because you have to be brave. And you think lions are not afraid? Because certain lions get back down. Obviously, that's a form of fear, because he don't want to do it again. He might not want to fight that another male lion. Watch Simba. Watch Lion King. Watch that movie. I didn't get to watch that yet, but I remember watching the cartoon where, at one point it's just like Scar. He wants to take over the kingdom, but he was afraid of his brother because his brother was still rough. So he backed down and tried to do things on the underhand. So lions have that form of fear, but it's not a fear in the sense of how humans take it. It's a fear of, like, they know when they're defeated and they're going to leave the pack and let the new male lion take over, just like the gorillas. Like, the gorillas are coming in and, like, they ready to battle the next male gorilla to take over the whole camp. It's just what it is. Study nature and be wise, like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to say. Study nature and be wise. But again, the fear has to be overcome. Regardless of what? Fear, false expectation appearing real, false evidence appearing real, whatever acronym you might come up with it, change it around, change it around and say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it happen. Whether you're born connected to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, whether you are born on the 1st of the month or the 31st of the month, you can overcome it. you can be your very best. You can start your business. You can create your own streams of income. And I got to big up people like Blue Pill, Red Pill that does that. I got to big up people like Brother Rich Cambada and them that are doing that. I got to big up people like Abundance Child that are doing it. I got to big up people like Asma, young lady that's doing it. People like Yendez that is running her. Yes, Yendez has been running her own business for over 30 years now. And she ain't looked back. Queen of Four, Baba Heru, they're running their business. They're doing what they love to do and turning what they love to do into a profit. Turn your pain, pleasures, and passions into profit. I know people are saying, oh, it's easy, well said and done. It's no, it may seem like it's easy, well said and done, but if you are a solo singer, and I say this in my I say this in my consultation to a lot of people that are on the fence of whether they should do this or do that. But there are cycles and seasons when you should make certain move and that it will help. But I say this, I say, if you are in a choir and you're given a solo to sing in the choir, if you don't believe in the song you're singing, the choir is not going to follow you. That's an analogy. If you, the solo singer, they put you out there because they know you have the potential. So they put you out there to overcome the fear and use your potential to be your great. And this is your time to shine. So if this is your time to shine, if you don't believe, if you let fear take over you and you don't believe in the song that you're singing, how can the choir back you if you don't believe in it? So, in other words, if you don't believe in your dreams and your goals and your aspirations and your creativity and your talents and your skills and your gifts, how you expect your family or anybody else to follow you and believe in you? Perfect example. My mother, beautiful, beautiful woman, born on the cusp of Aries, Virgo, the 21st of April. Okay. My mother, and what's so interesting, my mother, she comes from that working family, that Jamaican old school family. But what's so interesting, her father is the one that I spoke about. The father is the one that I spoke about, being running his own little business, working and doing. He did have jobs at the time, but when he became proficient at carpentry and all that, people started referring him and hiring him and contracting him till it became his own business. Then she lived around an aunt that, yes, she was a nurse and a midwife, but when she asked her brother, which is my grandfather, she asked the brother to build a midwifery house in the back, which was the property of my mother. She gave it to my mother when she transitioned, but that midwifery in the back, although my auntie was working as a nurse at Spanish Town or Jubilee Hospital and then a door-to-door nurse, she still had her own business on the side, which was the midwifery, where people would deliver children. They would deliver children as a midwife. My grandmother did it and my aunt, and they were good friends. As a matter of fact, my grandmother is one of her daughter's godmothers. So my mother seen this business, but still, being trained in old school family to get a job, come to America, have a job, be good and do this and be successful. That's where my mother's mindset was. So one time, my mother when I used to come over to her house and eventually help with the house now, my mother came, because my mother used to say, how come you don't work a regular job? Because I used to work on radio. I was a very good radio host on different radio stations. I've done commercials for different radio stations. I've done all that kind of stuff. And like I've told people, WWRL, Underground Station, WLIB, I've worked with them closely at different things and different functions, and also appeared on their radio show numerous times. But what's so interesting, my mother was that type of person. Excuse me. I just drank some water, it's flushing me out. My mother was that type of person that if you didn't have a significant regular job or significant amount of income, boom, you wasn't doing nothing. In other words, not disrespectfully, but respectfully, because she always wanted to see her children rise to the top and be the best. So having your own business, my mother never understood that because she's never had her own business. My father understood because he has had his own business. My grandfather was understood, but as he understood it, but as he got older, he would still say, what are you doing? Are you working? Until I found my niche. So my family is about showing and proving. And I know you have family out there too that want to see what you're doing before they even support it or big it up. So first thing, I used to be a singer, and my mother really wasn't, as much as she knew I could sing, she really wasn't as encouraging for me to sing, especially when it came into the reggae world or going out there to perform, because she knew how dangerous the streets was. And that's a mother. She's going to protect you. That's just how mothers are. They're going to protect you. And my mother is a Taurus. She claims the Taurus energy, and the Taurus deals with stability. They need to be stable. They need to be, financially stable in some way, which she is. She has done well for herself, and her pension is good. However, with me, when I was younger and wanted to sing, she didn't let me go out there to go sing, especially during my junior high and high school days. Actually, my junior high school days. So as I got older and gravitated towards the mic and singing, when finally I hit that microphone and she heard my music on the radio, she bigged me up to the family and they support. When they start seeing, they got to hear, they got to see, they got to know what's happening. They got to know, in other words, you got to show and prove to them, like we used to do in the 5%. You got to show and prove. You got to show and prove your wisdom. So I showed and proved by becoming number 5 on the reggae chart in reggae back at the age of 20, 21 years of age. So she understood. She understood then. And then after I did I left my house. I left at 17 years of age. So one time I was a little homeless. Then I left. I moved to Jamaica for a good 6 months. Then came back, joined the Ansar Allah community, stayed in the community. Then been doing my in and out and all of that stuff for many years before I came back to help my mother take care of the house and all of us that we own now fully. So what's so funny about that? Still doing my own business now, but she still didn't understand me running your own business and what I was doing, because I've reinvented myself numerous times. I went to school for massage therapy, got my CMT. I didn't go for my license because I left that after I made my money from that CMT. Like after I got my certification from massage, I made my money back. How much money I spent on it, I made my money back. I had a team of massage therapists or people that do massages. I had them on ski trips. We had them at different events. We produced pampering parties. I've done all that kind of stuff. I did it all because I reinvent myself. Not just being a reggae artist, I became a radio personality. I reinvent myself, especially according to my frequency and according to my cycles and my seasons in the numbers. Because I learned from Lloyd from the years of 1988, but I started studying numerology from 1985 under the Ansar community because he was teaching abjad from a certain perspective about the Quran. Moving forward, dealing with my mother again. My mother said, what is it that you do? I said, well, I'm a promoter and producer and all that kind of stuff. So I invited her to one of my lectures. I think the first lecture I invited her to was at the Marcus Garvey Center. And I think it was with Abundance Child, a dear friend, Abundance Child from Drops to Our Kitchen, Ma from Fig Tree. I think she was there also. I'm trying to remember her, but and my mother was there, and she's seen a big crowd. So this venue is fairly a good sized venue. It's called the Marcus Garvey Center on 51st and Church Avenue. It's closed now. Vengay, big up to Vengay. And what happened is that my mother seen that event. Okay, sounds good. She's still getting paid. She's, taking care of whatever we taking care of in that house. She's still getting paid, but she still wasn't convinced. My mother still wasn't convinced. The next time she came to a lecture, Dr. Sabi lecture she came to. I think it was a Dr. Sabi lecture she came to. Yeah, it was it wasn't Dr. Sabi first and then the other, but I know Dr. Sabi lecture she came to. She came late, but she came through, and my friend Katrina, old friend Katrina from back in the day, she recognized my mother and took her straight up to the front because she was on the guest list. Took her straight up to the front of Dr. Sabi church. The place is packed. The church is packed, filled up. And my mother was like, wow, and she loved Dr. Sabi because these are people that she's heard about, she heard about in the news and all that. And, she used to go through certain health challenges, and Dr. Sabi was definitely influential like Dr. Africa is. So, okay, that event went through. That was 2009. That event went through. It was a slam. It was a blast. Boom. She's still wondering what I do and how I'm making this money. and making my finance to take care of myself or give money to my children and all that kind of stuff. So I left corporate America in 2005, believing in my abilities and my talents, using the numbers as a form of guidance, using astrology as a form of guidance. That's why I tell people, go and get those readings, go get those sessions, go get the consultation, pay whatever money you have to until you understand it, until you get yourself right. Because sometimes you got to believe in the energies and the modalities and the people that believe in you before your belief kicks in about yourself. I'll repeat that. Sometimes you have to believe in the people that believe in you or the modalities that are guiding you, like the astrology and numerology that are guiding you before your belief system kicks in. It has to kick in one day. No matter how long it takes, no matter how short it takes, it has to kick in. So the last lecture that my mother came to, it was Ashra Kwesi. Baba Ashra Kwesi at CPAC. CPAC is a big venue, holds like seated, it probably holds about seated, it holds like 500 people. So we had Polite opened up for that. We had the 500 people or 450 people, and then we had all these vendors around. My mother came, but my mother was a person that watched like it is, like with what's his face, who passed on, Gil Noble, the brother. May he rest in peace. So in the audience, and she used to watch like it is, in the audience was the late, great Dr. Ben. He came in his wheelchair to see Ashra Kwesi. He said he wanted to see him. He got a driver, and they drove him to Brooklyn, deep in East Flatbush off of Farragut and 48th Street in Brooklyn. Big hall called CPAC, owned by a friend of mine named George Crooks, whom I mentioned before about the Reggae Carafest that he used to operate. And that was a packed house. My mother came. We hugged up Dr. Ben. When we announced Dr. Ben was in the audience, my mother was like, whoa, because Dr. Ben been on Like It Is, and she's learned and heard about Dr. Ben and all these different people. So that was the last time my mother ever asked me about what am I doing, because she's seen what I'm doing. And because I do what I love to do, and in this broadcast, because I do what I love to do, I've had much finance pass through my hands. I've had millions of dollars go through my hands because I've worked with clubs, I've worked with venues, I've worked with things in the reggae, the Caribbean world, the soca world. I've worked with artists, all of that. I used to do that. I don't do it anymore like that. I've reinvented myself more into the consciousness, more into consultation and all that. And because I've recognized and used the modalities that was encouraging me, staying on the positive of the numerology or the astrology and all these different things that I was studying, staying on the positive of listening to motivational speakers and all that kind of stuff, it kept me alive, for one. It kept me going. 2, it kept me positive. 3, it kept me from the bull crap of in the streets and dealing with drugs and all that stuff. 4, and it just kept me on a certain ride to the top. So like I said, I encourage all of you to do what you love to do, because like I said, you'll never work a day in your life. And yes, you're going to fail. You're going to fail yourself to the top. Think about inventors that have put out 10,000 ideals and inventions, but yet only 300 of them made it. Think of all the sports people that have gone through whatever they have gone through, never got a ring, never won a Super Bowl ring, never won a basketball ring, but still their name resonates with that. Some make it to the highest level, some stay at a certain level, but at least go for the level. You're going to fail your way to the top. So either if you fail or succeed, you learn from your failure, reposition yourself, and do something different to take it to the next level. Because you may be failing because you're lacking you may be failing because you lack you're lacking the ability to reposition yourself so you can gain the success from it. That's what might be happening to you. And astrology, numerology, and these different guidance modalities like GPS are here to show you the fastest way, or you could take the slowest way. But whether you fail, you learn from your failures, move on, reposition yourself, and go succeed. And whether you're successful at it, you succeed and you keep on learning from your succession and how to take it to the next level and keep on going in your success. Look, success has enemies, like the gangster said in the book, in the movie called American Gangsters. Success has enemies. So the more you rise to the top of your success, you're going to have enemies. The more I've seen people like Brother Polite or Umar Johnson or whomever's out there that rise to the tops of their success, regardless of how you feel and what you feel or what you've heard or what you see or who did this and who did that, regardless of what you did, I've seen their rise. I've seen Umar when he first came to New York with Sonetta. I've seen Polite when he first came into the conscious community, because he was only speaking to Nuwapians. He wasn't speaking to the conscious until myself brought him in, and then he went to Sonetta. But I brought him in under his metaphysics teaching, under his health teaching. That's what I focused on. Sonetta went into the debates and went into that arena. That's where he went with Sonetta. But I officially put him in front of every major lecturer, from the Dr. Blairs. I put him in front of Sabi. I put Polite in front of Dr. Africa. I put him in front of Phil Valentine, Ashra Quaid. I put him in, and he became a business partner with me from one perspective, just like Abundance Child was a business partner of mine from another perspective. But all of us kind of grew up together since the 2008, 2009 dynamics. And I love and respect each and every one of them. No matter how you feel, you could never have me speak out against Polite or Umar or Abundance or anybody out there, because that's not my premise. My relationships with people is my relationship with them, whether they've done you bad or done you wrong. Like I've said to a friend of mine who texted me some information about Polite, and I said, look, please don't send me nothing negative. If you notice on my social media, I don't put nothing negative about anybody on there. That's for other people to do. That's not my job. That's not my spirit. That's not my feeling. And my relationship with him or Umar is different than your relationship with him or Umar. Me and Umar are not the best of friends, but I know when I see him lecture, and I know when I talk to him and take a picture with him, he still shows me respect, because I wasn't that type of person. I don't pursue drama like people want me to pursue. I don't do that. That's not my job. If any of them have done you any wrong, that's not me. I'm just showing you. And before I end, this is on another note. One time I went to a Umar Johnson lecture in Queens, and I noticed this brother kept on looking at me strange. And I'm not one to run away from no fight or debate. In the sense of when you man up and man to man to me, I'm not one. I'm well trained, and if you're gonna beat me, you're gonna beat me, but you're gonna have a hard time beating me. I've been trained for years, since 1980s. I've been training in the arts for years, whether it's boxing, martial arts, Wing Chun, Jiu-Jitsu, all that kind of stuff. I've been training various martial arts for years, and I don't brag about it and I don't go for belts, because that's just not me. I'm just not one of those people. I just want to learn basically how to protect myself and how to get home. That's all I want to learn. I want to get home. That's all. And be able to talk to my children and my family again. That's all. That's why I learned martial arts. That's why I learned boxing. That's why I learned Shotokan and stick fighting, all that, and weapons. And I just want to get home. I just want to be protected. I'm on the streets of New York. I just want to be home and see my family. I got 9 children. They got grandchildren. I got 7 grandchildren. I got no time to be tussling with people in their ignorance. But seeing this guy who used to be this guy used to come to a lot of our lectures with me and Brother Polite. And this guy, I'm feeling an energy from this guy. So I'm dealing and doing my thing, giving out flyers, and I hand him a flyer, and he refuses the flyer. And he used to never do that. He always used to be jovial and happy with me. So I felt that energy, and I walked away first. And then I went back to him. I said, brother, do you have a problem with me? Because I'm here. I'm not hiding anywhere. I'm not doing any. And he started talking about Polite and money and all this kind of stuff. And I said, do I look like Brother Polite? He said, but you used to work with him. Yes, I used to be a promoter. I am a promoter. It's just like promoting a Janet Jackson show and she doesn't show up. That's not my fault that she didn't show up. Maybe she had problems. Maybe she had an injury. Maybe there was a problem with her. It's not my fault she didn't show up. As long as what I said to you about Janet and everybody's going to get their money back, as far as that's concerned, cool. Because none of my promotions I've never had problems with having to give people their money back if I found there was an issue or none of my speakers showed up, because actually all of my speakers have shown up. So I said to the brother, he was a bigger brother and he could have tried to swing or do what I understand, but I looked him in his eyes and told him, look, brother, whatever you had between Polite and you is not me. That's you and Polite. So don't come to me with that. So I always give people Polite's email and number, and people can attest to this. I ain't afraid to give the numbers for Brother Polite or whoever. He's a good friend of mine. We still contact. I love and respect his family, but his business is his business. And like I told somebody that sent me an email about some old problems that he had, I said, that's old. And I don't want negative stuff about anyone, not Brother Polite, anybody. I love that brother. I respect that brother. And I understand certain things that maybe some of y'all don't understand, but I don't co-sign any negative that y'all may think he's doing. I don't co-sign none of that stuff. And I want that to be on the record clear. I don't co-sign none of that. That's not my job. But I do respect his grind. I respect him as a brother. Don't try to piece this up and say that Simon is saying that Polite is this. I'm not saying anything because I don't know his personal business. I only can show respect for the brother on my dealings with him. That's it. And that used to happen in the promotional world. Other promoters would think I should not talk to this promoter and that promoter. I shouldn't talk to that promoter and I shouldn't talk to that promoter. But my relation with all those promoters was always great. Never had a problem. Every other promoter, this promotion might talk about this promoter in the regular world talk about this promoter. I ain't got no time for that. I'm there to promote and do what I do, but I keep in contact with everybody. I don't tell everybody's business. They don't tell my business. I am one of those people that I'm not into all that foolishness with people. So I could care less what you think. But with that same brother, I showed him that I'm here. I'm your brother. If you want to contact me, cool. I gave him my number. I said, look, boom, I'll even make it a connection with you and the brother. I've got no problem with that. Polite knows this. Polite knows me, and Polite knows all this stuff. So I'm saying all of this to say that I don't let people dictate who I'm supposed to talk to and who I'm not supposed to talk to. We deal with the enemy in this society every day. For me to be arguing with people about our people, about other people, I ain't got no time for that, really. I'm getting too young for that. Like I'm living my best life, ain't going back and forth with you. I'm not doing it. Just saying that I'm not doing it. So on that note, me and that brother resolved. We shook hands. It was cool. But I understand people's pain when it comes to finance or whatever. And I understand whatever brother is supposed to resolve, he's going to have to resolve it, because everybody, whether you was affected positively or negatively by my brother, Brother Polite, or any other speaker, Omar Johnson or whoever, if you was affected positively or negatively by any of them, those are grown ass people. And you're a grown ass person. So whatever your grown ass chose to do with them or work with them in any form or fashion, that was your choice. That's not my choice. I am friends with them. I've worked with them in some capacity, and I have been treated with respect by both of them and by all parties, because I've shown them respect. They show me respect. So respect to those brothers, those two Leos. Respect to those two Leos. And if you have any problem with them, you go and deal with them and confront them. They give out their numbers and their email all the time. You deal with that. So, hey, my book is called No Promotion is Bad Promotion. The new book is called No Promotion. The revised version is No Promotion is Bad Promotion, and good publicity. All publicity is good publicity. Just spell my name right. They know how to publicize themselves. They're doing a great job, and I commend them for doing it. I love them for doing it because they know how to promote. They know how to promote. You know what I'm saying? They know how to work this magic, and that's what I'm all about. They're working their magic regardless. And in my book, I even talk about controversial promotion. I talk about shock jocks and all that, because Khalid was good at that. Dr. Khalid Muhammad was good at being a shock jock or a shock promoter. Shock jock is like Wendy Williams is a shock jock back in the day. Howard Stearns is a shock jock. Star from Star Chamber is a shock jock. Those are shock jocks. You know, they know how to shock people and bring them into their world. So in the consciousness, oh, Sonetta could be a shock jock. He's a shocking person. He brings shocking information to people and to stimulate the audience, to stimulate information and stimulate. That's why he does what he does as far as the discussions that he has online, the debates that he has online. That's the shocking, controversial promotion that works. It's in my book. No promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. And it's published by Laila Africa, or published by Charles Child's publication, which is owned by Dr. Africa and his wife. So on that note, once again, let me end by saying, do what you love to do and never work a day in your life. That's what all the people I just spoke about is doing, what they love to do. And you now have a vast platform to do what you love to do. And that's totally up to you. I love and respect each and every one of you. Make sure you get my book. Numbers are simple. People are complicated. I also have a children's book called Numbers Are Simple. Our children's health is important. I also have my motivational promotional book called No Promotion is Bad Promotion, all on Amazon and Kindle. And look out for my next book that's coming out on numerovation and depression. Also, get Lloyd Strayhorn books. He gives you the best basic breakdown of numerology. He covers every little thing that he could possibly cover, you know, from his perspective, because it is an interpretation. That's what it is. But numbers don't lie. People lie to themselves. And remember, if you want to find out about any of my events, please go to kingsimonproductions.eventbrite.com. That's kingsimonproductions.eventbrite.com. Or if you want to find out about my bio or any information or get to my products, go to kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's King Simon Productions with an S at the end, .wordpress.com. If you want to do a numerovation session or a numerology session with me, remember, I'm here to guide. I'm not here to tell you about yourself. I'm here to show you about yourself and why you need to be guided to a higher self. Text me your full name and date of birth at 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. That is not for you to call me or text me some crap or some argument about some problem or issue you might have with somebody that I mentioned on this line. That's not what I'm going to address. I will block you. I will put you in the block party. I like block parties. I used to throw them. I will put you on a block party. And I will block your backside. So please do not text me with anybody else's foolishness, with any negative foolishness, no negative videos. I ain't got no time. I got to protect my mind because I'm connected to that disciplinary number, that sign that needs to protect their mind. I'm connected to that sign. So please, if you want to do a numerovation session for a compatibility session, you could do a compatibility session between you and your mate to see how compatible, how it can work and how it might not work if you don't take the higher roads. That's a little bit more than I usually charge, but it's good. It can help and give you guidance. If you want to do numerology or numerovational session for your children or for you, I usually, if you have one or two children, I try to, if you do a full hour, I'll break down the children's birthday for free. But if you want to personally just have something that you want recorded that can be sent to you so you can listen to what your child needs to do and how to guide your child, we can do that. I can do that. I can help guide you. And I have team members that can also do it if I'm not able to do it. Like Sister Asma, she is I interviewed her on Instagram. I interviewed on Instagram and on Facebook already. I mean, on YouTube already. Asma is not only a numerologist and a student of Lloyd Strayhorn and myself to a certain degree, but more Lloyd. She also has a master's degree at childcare. So if you want her to do a numerology session for your children, she's very reasonable. She'll work with you. She's about $2 a minute, a minimum of 15 minutes and more. But you want her to do a certain chart or a recording or write-up, she can help you with that. I'm focused on a lot of the adults and all that, but when I can't do it because I'm on the road, I'm traveling, I give it off to people like her. I give it off to Lois Strayhorn. I give it off to Kaya French. I give it off to Natosha, the number Swami. I give it off to, and people ask me for astrologers or cardologists. I tell you about Aquarius Maxim. I got all their numbers and I'll send them to you. Spiritual readers, all that. Mama Ella, Sister Gina, Miss Gina, all them people I guide you to them because I'm not trying to take it all. There's enough finance and enough donations that can go around and spread to everybody. I don't have to take it all. If I don't want it, if I don't think I need to do it, if I feel the energy that I don't need to do it, then I'll give it off to somebody that will do it and that may need it. So once again, family, contact, do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. This has been your brother King Simon from King Simon Productions and Promotions. And don't forget, I have a tribute coming up to Delbert Blair on the 22nd of September at Nicholas Brooklyn Bookstore. You can go to Eventbrite, KingSimonProductions.eventbrite.com, and get that information. Also, I have something I'm working on coming up in October, but I got to discuss it with Brother Panic and his wife, really focusing more on the chakra healing with his brother, with his wife, Sister Khadidra. But Brother Panic, he would be probably a guest. I just want to really focus on chakra healing over there in New York because the New York numerical energy adds up or is equivalent to the heart circulation and all that's needed for New York City. That's in October. We're looking to do a private all day with only 60 people. We might do a live stream, depending if I could get USA live stream to help me out. Also, in November, that would be probably my last event in New York City until I come back to town after I leave for 4 months. But I'll probably be in Florida doing some stuff. I'm going to work on doing something in Texas, do something in Cali if I can, or do something in Arizona. I'm going to be working along those heated spots, be in them hot areas after November 10th. That's going to be my 24th celebration in production and promotion. Tickets go on sale September 1st, and I will drop the people that will be featured. Remember, the theme of it is called love. The theme of it is health, wealth, love, and the mathematical thinking for the future, or thinking mathematically for the future. That's going to be it. And I got some great speakers that's going to be there, great presenters that's going to give you applicable information. That's happening Sunday, November 10th. Venue will be mentioned, time will be mentioned, speakers will be mentioned, all happening between September and October. You get all of that. You're going to get all of that. But remember, go to KingSimonProductions.eventbrite.com. And if you are going to text me from outside of the United States, or you in Canada, or you in anywhere outside of the United States, please use WhatsApp and text me at 347-496-1022. That's WhatsApp at 347-496-1022 if you want to set up a session with me or find out more information about my classes and all that kind of stuff. Once again, went over time, but it is what it is. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening, and respect and love to you. If I offended anybody in any way about what I said and how I said it, or anybody, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Remember, forgiveness is the highest form of healing, and many of us, if not all of us, need to heal. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Up, you mighty nation. You could accomplish what you will. One love, one aim, one destiny, like Marcus Mosiah Garvey used to say upon his birthday coming up on August the 17th. Peace.